Authorities calling it one of the worst cases they have ever seen, and they are still seeking any information they can from the public. Beyond depraved, that's what investigators are calling the murder of Sam Nordquist. 5 suspects charged with murder, hate crime charges are pending.
Police say Nordquist came here from Minnesota and endured unthinkable torture before his body was dumped in a field in the Finger Lakes.
Police told us Sam Nordquist was subjected to physical and mental torture before he died. Sam's body found in an empty field. A warning, some of the details in this case might be disturbing. Captain Kelly Swift with New York State Police saying Thursday they executed a search warrant in room 22 of Patty's Lodge on routes 5 and 20 in the town of Hopewell in relation to the disappearance of Sam Nordquist.
Our investigation has revealed a deeply disturbing pattern of abuse that ultimately resulted in Sam's tragic death.
Ontario County's District Attorney saying no person should have ever had to go through what Sam dealt with.
The facts and the circumstances of this crime are beyond depraved. This is by far the worst homicide investigation that our office has ever been a part of.
The felony complaints allege that 5 suspects, Precious Arzuaga, Emily Motaika, Patrick Goodwin, Kyle Sage, and Jennifer Cajano tortured Sam, sexually assaulting him with a table leg and broomsticks, and beating Sam with sticks, dog toys, ropes, and belts until Sam died. His remains were found in a field in the town of Benton in Yates County. A Farmington woman who helped with search efforts to find Sam says his family is now on the way from Minnesota. She said Sam's family is heartbroken and the details of this case are sickening.
And Sam's a human being, a beautiful one, and it's just unfortunate that people are that disgusting and that ugly.
Police are asking for patience as they work through this case, and more details are yet to come.
To echo what everyone has said, I hold and I hope we all hold up Sam's family, his friends, his community in our thoughts and prayers.
4 days since the reported discovery of 24-year-old Sam Nordquist's remains, investigators shared new information surrounding the case. A joint statement from Ontario County prosecutors and New York State Police reveals the agencies have no indication the murder was a hate crime at this time. The joint statement elaborates, saying Nordquist and his alleged assailants were known to each other, identified as LGBTQ+. And at least 1 defendant lived with Nordquist at the time of the offense. Meanwhile, 5 people face second-degree murder and depraved indifference charges, carrying 15 to 20-year sentences if convicted.
These people that did this to Sam are pure evil. They're not even human. And we will get justice for you, Sam. We will, until, if it takes the last breath out of me, you will have justice.
Nordquist's mother sharing immense pain with KARE-TV in Minneapolis. Earlier, authorities called the circumstances surrounding Sam's death a deeply disturbing pattern of abuse, alleging torture and sexual assault before his death.
This is by far the worst homicide investigation that our office has ever been a part of.
Nordquist's remains were found in a field in the town of Benton in Yates County.
He had a heart of gold that would hurt anybody. Sam did not deserve this. Nobody deserves this type of torment that he had to endure.
Michelle Pickard, who helped with the initial search for Sam, also heartbroken at the loss.
We will seek justice. We will continue to follow up on the case. I know personally I'll go to every court date, keep them informed, but I do know that Sam has an army behind him.
New York State Governor Kathy Hochul releasing a statement earlier today calling for justice for Nordquist. Hochul saying, quote, "The charges against these individuals are sickening and all New Yorkers should join together to condemn this horrific act. We are praying for Sam Nordquist's family, community, and loved ones who are experiencing unimaginable grief."
I don't know. I don't know how I'm going to move on from this.
Kayla Nordquist says her brother Sam was looking for love. Sam thought he found a connection in our area a long way from home. Kayla and her family tried to stop him from making the long trip.
Sam did not deserve that. So as a community, not everyone in the community is bad. It's just those individuals who are sick and decided they wanted to hurt Sam for no reason.
The love Sam was looking for, taken from him in such a brutal way. Lisa Leonard organized this vigil here in Geneva. She helped in the search efforts to find Sam and now wants the suspects to face maximum consequences.
Justice looks for me the death penalty, to be honest.
Lisa says the community is rallying around Sam and his family, showing the Nordquists the very best in our area.
There's over I say 25 to 30 more vigils just for Sam. He was a good soul. His whole family is. He didn't deserve this.
Kayla says discovering so much affection here, well, she just wishes Sam was here to actually feel it.
It really is really warming, and it helps with the process that Sam is actually loved from everybody, even though he didn't know that.
Ontario County District Attorney Jim Ritz tells me that the murder of 24-year-old Sam Nordquist is the most horrific case his department has prosecuted.
It is absolutely, without question, the worst thing that we've ever seen.
5 suspects charged in connection to the disappearance and murder of Nordquist. Ritz says 3 out of the 5 suspects have previous criminal convictions. Kyle Sage and Patrick Goodwin are both currently on parole. Sage convicted of larceny and disseminating indecent material to a minor. Goodwin convicted of first-degree criminal sex act and sexual abuse involving a victim under the age of 11. Goodwin is a registered level 3 sex offender.
Precious Arzuaga has 4 misdemeanor convictions, nothing sexual, but petty larcenies, criminal trespass, and a sale of an imitation controlled substance.
Authorities say Nordquist, who is transgender, was living at Patty's Lodge in Hopewell after traveling from Minnesota. Police launched a missing person investigation last week after receiving a welfare check request from the victim's family. They believe the victim endured prolonged physical and psychological abuse and repeated acts of violence and torture between early December and early February. Police found the victim's body in a Yates County field Thursday.
I can tell you, in my 36 years, I've never seen anything this depraved. So it's hateful.
Ritz says Arzuaga and Nordquist were living at Patty's Lodge together. No word on a motive, and Ritz says there's no indication at this time the murder was a hate crime.
The question about hate crimes is whether that hate was derived from Sam's being a transgender person, or if these are just evil people who hate and would have done this regardless of Sam's situation.
Dozens of people in the LGBTQ+ community making their voices heard, distraught that this happened in their own backyard. Sam's older sister, Kayla, speaking as well, urging those who use online dating platforms to do your research into a person before you meet them. A member of the LGBTQ+ community reflecting on how they felt when they first heard the news.
Rage. Absolute rage. And it's something where instead of standing there and screaming, focusing on action, things that we can do as a community, things that I can help others do, things that I can do to move forward and make sure this does not happen again.
Nordquist's sister tells me she is disgusted there are so many people involved with the death of her brother. 2 additional suspects arrested in connection to the murder of Sam Nordquist, a 24-year-old transgender man from Minnesota who was killed in the Finger Lakes region after enduring months of torture.
When you start bringing more people in, the more disturbing it gets.
Ontario County District Attorney Jim Ritz says 29-year-old Kimberly Socha of Canandaigua and 21-year-old Thomas Eves of Geneva were arraigned on murder charges Friday morning. He revealed Eves is the son of 38-year-old Precious Arzuaga, one of the other 5 suspects arrested and charged last week. Relationships between the other individuals still being investigated.
The easy one is family, right? But as it relates to, we're still working on what those relationships are and how these people came together to do this just horrendous act.
Police determined Nordquist was staying at Patty's Lodge on routes 5 and 20 in Hopewell with Arzuaga and others. They believe he endured repeated acts of violence and torture between early December and early February. His body found in a field in Benton, Yates County, last week. In a statement, Nordquist's sister Kayla says, quote, "It's heartbreaking to know at least 7 people did this to my brother, who was the sweetest person," end quote. Ritz says it's possible there could be even more suspects.
It's beyond belief as to where this has already grown to with 7 arrests, but the door is not closed. The investigation is not over. Sam didn't deserve this. In a million years, Sam didn't deserve this. What he went through is appalling, and you know, we want for his family, for his friends, for his community to understand we are actively moving forward on the journey to justice for Sam.
The last thing Sam said was, "I love you and I will call you tomorrow." Well, tomorrow never came.
Linda Nordquist tells me her son Sam left Minnesota to travel to the Finger Lakes region in September. She says the last time she or Sam's sister Kayla heard from him was January 31st.
There was nothing. Kayla tried calling, nothing. I tried calling, nothing. I tried texting, nothing. The last conversation Sam had with Kayla, Kayla said, "If you don't answer your phone, we're coming to look for you." And that's exactly what we did. And we found him.
Authorities say Sam Nordquist, a 24-year-old transgender man, was found dead in a field in Benton, Yates County earlier this month. Police determined he suffered repeated acts of violence and torture between early December and early February. 5 suspects were initially charged with murder in his death. 2 additional suspects, 29-year-old Kimberly Socha and 21-year-old Thomas Eves, were charged Thursday.
I knew that they were looking for 2 people, but I knew one of them, what they were looking for sure. This Kim person, I never even know where she plays in. I never even heard of the name before.
Police say Nordquist was staying at Patty's Lodge in Hopewell with 38-year-old Precious Arzuaga and others. According to officials, Eves is the son of Arzuaga. Relationships between the other suspects are still under investigation.
I'm going to be at the trial. I don't care if there's 1 or if there's 7. I will be at every trial. I will be at sentencing. I know that there's going to be quite a few people from Minnesota at that sentencing.
Several vigils and rallies have been held for Nordquist locally and in Minnesota.
It's overwhelming, but I feel hopefully Sam feels the love that he really has and the support that he really has. His voice will be heard one way or the other. And so we have Sam's back throughout all this. We are now Sam's voice, and we will fight to the fullest.
They used duct tape, and they poured bleach on him. They forced him to obey their commands, treating him like a dog.
7 suspects charged in this case, and investigators say at some point, children were forced to participate.
And I know many will ask the question, why? Well, as I stand here today as a human being, we'll never know the answer why. Because what human being could do what happened to Sam? We'll never make sense of this case.
An indictment unsealed Wednesday charging 7 suspects with first-degree murder in the horrifying death of a 24-year-old transgender man from Minnesota. The prosecutor on the case says Sam Nordquist was beaten and tortured to death.
And I know many will ask the question, why? Well, as I stand here today as a human being, we'll never know the answer why. Because what human being could do what happened to Sam?
Authorities say Nordquist arrived in Ontario County in September and was staying with 38-year-old Precious Arzuaga and others at Patty's Lodge on routes 5 and 20 in Hopewell. Wolford says he was tortured and assaulted by the suspects between January 1st and February 2nd.
Sam was confined. He was forced to kneel and stand against a wall. He was physically assaulted. He was sexually assaulted. He was prevented from using his phone. He was denied proper nutrition and hydration. He was fed feces. He was forced to drink urine and chew spit. They physically restrained him. They forced him to obey their commands, treating him like a dog. They covered his face with towels and shirts and fabric. They used duct tape, and they poured bleach on him.
The indictment says Arzuaga compelled or induced 2 children ages 7 and 12 to participate in beating Nordquist. Arzuaga faces coercion charges.
They may have been forced to participate, but their lives are forever changed by what they saw and endured in there.
Nordquist's body found in a field in Benton, Yates County, February 13th.
He was dumped out on the side of the road in a farmer's field, wrapped in plastic bags, where they hoped no one would find him.
Wolford says to limit this to a hate crime would be an injustice.
A hate crime would make this charge about Sam's gender or about Sam's race, and it's so much bigger. Sam was beaten, assaulted, sexually abused, starved, held captive. A hate crime would make this charge about Sam's gender or about Sam's race, and it's so much bigger. To limit us to a hate crime would be an injustice to Sam.
Authorities say Nordquist was denied proper nutrition, fed feces, forced to drink urine, his skin doused with bleach, and he was sexually assaulted and tortured with objects. Many in the community believed a hate crime would be warranted.
There's no benefit to it.
Gotcha. Attorney Vincent Morante says the 7 suspects are already charged with murder 1.
So by aiding the hate crime, there's no elevation of the crime, and there's no harsher sentence in New York than life in prison, because the appellate courts have ruled that the death penalty is now cruel and inhuman.
He says these suspects are already facing the highest consequences New York has.
From a prosecutor's point of view, you're just making the prosecution of these individuals more difficult, because now you have to prove another element to a crime, that the actors did it because of Mr. Nordquist's gender, sexuality, for some racist purpose.
The Ontario County courtroom was packed this afternoon, and this is the first time we're seeing all 7 suspects face a judge in this case. All are facing first-degree murder charges in the death of 24-year-old Sam Nordquist, who was a transgender man from Minnesota. According to an indictment unsealed last week, the suspects tortured and beat Nordquist between January 1st and February 2nd. He was found dead in a Yates County field February 13th. 38-year-old Precious Arzuaga appeared in court wearing an orange jumpsuit. The other 6 suspects appeared in street clothing or business wear. All entered pleas of not guilty for all charges, and no contact orders of protection were issued for the 2 children mentioned in the indictment. The indictment alleges Arzuaga compelled or induced 2 children ages 7 and 12 to cause or attempt to cause physical injury to Nordquist. Cameras were granted in court by Judge Christina Carley. Multiple defense attorneys filed motions for the prosecution not to speak to media due to inflammatory comments and impacting the jury pool. Those motions were denied. We caught up with the Ontario County District Attorney and Thomas Eves' attorney following the arraignment.
The purpose of today was to arraign each of the defendants, and that's what we accomplished. It's still an ongoing investigation as well, so there's a lot to do and a lot of work to do, and we want to make sure we're able to try these people with a jury of their peers in a fair setting.
We maintain my client's innocent regarding the circumstances, and as I indicated to her earlier, the grand jury only heard one side of the story. They didn't hear everything, and the district attorney's office has cast a pretty wide net regarding these matters and accused the individuals of, very serious circumstances.
In court Thursday, attorneys for the defendants filed several motions, including one to toss out the indictment due to a defective grand jury presentation. Assistant District Attorney Victoria Porter says this was expected.
Nothing out of the ordinary there. They're just making specific arguments because in this particular case, there are many statements from obviously the co-defendants, which you all heard today. So the court will make a determination on that.
The defense attorneys also made arguments for severance, which, if allowed, would mean separate trials for each defendant.
Like the court said, it's premature. We have to determine first if we can use the statements that were elicited from the defendants, and then determine if and how we would sever the case.
The status of Patty's Lodge in the town of Hopewell, where the crimes allegedly occurred, was briefly discussed in court.
All I can say is that the New York State Police does not have custody over it or control over it at this time.
Thomas Eves' attorney also requested discovery be provided relating to video from the Ontario County Jail of the defendants engaging in conversation, as well as jail phone calls.
The discovery in this case is voluminous. There's many things outstanding. This is an active police investigation. There are things being created even as we speak.
Inmate Quijano, who's obviously housed in our jail on murder charges, has been a difficult inmate during the duration of her stay, let's say. This is not her first altercation.
31-year-old Jennifer Quijano is one of 7 people accused in the torture and killing of a transgender man in Ontario County.
Quijano is already charged with murder, kidnapping, aggravated sexual abuse, and concealment of a human corpse in connection to the death of Sam Nordquist. Sam's sister tonight tells me she's not shocked about this new assault charge. One of the 7 suspects accused of killing 24-year-old Sam Nordquist, a transgender man from Minnesota, in trouble again. Deputies say Jennifer Quijano assaulted a fellow inmate inside the Ontario County Jail.
I think that she's digging herself a very deep hole, and she is a danger to society. She should never come out. And she just keeps proving that.
The news not surprising to Sam's sister, Kayla Nordquist. Prosecutors say her brother arrived in Ontario County in September and was beaten and tortured for more than a month before his body was discovered in a field in Yates County in February.
It's hard every day. Still cry every day. I think about Sam every day. I go visit Sam every Sunday. My mom goes and sees Sam's a few times a week.
As Nordquist's family awaits closure in the investigation, Sheriff David Serencione describes a tumultuous experience behind bars for Quijano.
Last Thursday, was in an argument with another female inmate within the housing unit and struck that other female several times, causing physical injury to the person's face.
Sheriff Serencione says this is not Quijano's first incident.
She has been charged already once for another fight in the jail where a correction officer was injured breaking up the fight.
It's still unclear how the court process will play out for Quijano and the 6 others charged in Nordquist's death. But Kayla says she plans to return to Canandaigua when the time comes.
I appreciate everybody's support in Rochester and the surrounding areas and from the world in general.
Thank you.
Neighbors lining up to help a family grieving a deep loss at a barbecue fundraiser in the city of Geneva.
We just really wanted to show support for the family in any way we could.
Russ and Max coming from Canandaigua, both reflecting on the death of Sam Nordquist nearly 6 months ago.
I think it's important for a community to come together at a time like this. We need people to help people.
Authorities announced the discovery of Sam Nordquist's body in a field in Yates County in mid-February, a case in which 7 suspects now face charges including murder, accused of beating and torturing the 24-year-old transgender man from Minnesota before his death.
Hearing about this happening really kind of shook my faith in the community a little bit, just because imagining someone who's from where you are doing something this horrible was just really shocking.
Neighbors hoping to support Nordquist's family waiting for justice from Minnesota, with a possible trial in the future.
Because of the local nature of the trauma, there are people still in this area who are continuing to really try and support that family, recognizing that while the Nordquist family is not from here, they are now connected to this space.
Organizers say the event was a sellout with 150 tickets.
Vast majority of people, regardless of their sort of religious or political sensibilities, recognize this tragedy for what it was. That has been unfortunately unifying. The unification is good. The cause for it is not.